First of all, I want to talk to y'all about a very powerful meeting we had before practice on a situation in Kenosha, Wisconsin with Jacob Blake. It was powerful, and I was awful proud and am awful proud of our football team. And the things that came out of that meeting were very beneficial to myself, very beneficial to their other teammates. And we're going to make some type of a statement about that situation sometime next week. I believe our players will make a statement today about that. But I want to tell you, I'm 100% behind our football team and our players, and I'm very proud of them. Along with the scrimmage today, we went about 50 plays with the ones and twos, somewhere around 25 with the threes. We also kicked in all phases of the game: punt, return, kickoff, return, PAT, field goal. We handled several reps in all three different phases there. I thought our kickers kicked well. I thought our punters punted well. I think we have to get in better shape. We're not there yet, nor did we think we would be. It was hot. It was hot out there, and we had a very lengthy scrimmage. Not injury. We stayed free, as far as I know, of injuries. And so I was proud of our kids to get through the first week, basically in pads. And with that, I'll visit with you guys about your questions.
I'm going to lead us off.
Sounds good. Hey, Sam, could you talk about how clean execution was, play clock, just ball security, just how it looked for you?
You know, we never really got into a situation where, well, we'd never delay a game. That we never, we were close a couple times, but we didn't have a problem with that. We dropped some passes, you know, some critical situation passes that we certainly have to get better catching the ball there. But they also turned around and made some magnificent catches as well today. But we've got to catch that ball. We dropped a couple third down situations. We put the ball on the ground at least 2 times that I remember on fumbles, a couple of jarring hits out of there. But you know, that has to improve as well. But for a first scrimmage, I thought it was well organized by our coaching staff and well played by the kids. It was hot. We got to get in better shape.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you could tell us about how the quarterbacks played. I know Felipe had some touchdown passes. Just your impression.
Yeah, I thought they executed the offense, both of them. You know, Felipe probably was his most accurate day. You know, KJ did a little bit more with his feet as well as Felipe, but KJ did a little bit more on the ground. But I thought both of them played well. Certainly, we missed a few throws that we have to make in the future because, you know, every down's so critical. But I thought that both of them went in the 2-minute drive and went down the field and did a good job in that and a good job of orchestrating the offense in both those situations. So we had really struggled earlier in 2-minute on offense, and they did a little bit better today.
Coach?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned a couple of jarring hits that caused a couple of fumbles. You remember who made those plays and also who just kind of stood out on defense to you?
Edwards was one of them, and then Buster Brown was the other one. Buster actually caused and recovered a fumble down close on the goal line. Magnificent, wonderful play. And but defensively, you know, Coach is still really hard to block, and you know, he's on some special teams as well. So you know, we kind of ran him out of gas a little bit. But the D-line, again, they put pressure on the quarterback, and I was pleased with that group. And certainly I think we've got work to do on defense, but I was pleased with the effort.
Otis.
Coach, how has A.J. Reed been doing? I know you said the kickers kick today, but just today and leading up to today, how's he looked?
AJ's done a good job. I think he had one day out there that I wouldn't consider bad, but not to his standards nor ours. But I thought he kicked the ball really well today, and our punters, both Sam and Carrington, really punted the ball well.
8.
Sam, as far as linebacker, who's standing out to you that you've seen?
Well, there's a lot of guys there at that position. You know, you've got Bumper and of course Morgan and Edwards and Parker, and there's a lot of guys, you know, there. So really, we haven't really had a guy that's going, hey, this is my Draper, you know, this is my job, and I'm going to take it from you. I think that position right there is still a wide open position of who's going to be our starter there. I think we'll know a little bit more after the practice today once we read that, once we view that.
Scotty.
Hey, Sam, you've talked in the past about wanting to have a tough blue-collar football team. I'm wondering if you liked what you saw today in that regard.
I did. I like the way we chased the ball early. Like I said, we're just not in good enough shape yet, you know, and to play. I don't think, honestly, I'm not positive that our kids were quite ready for that type of a scrimmage, you know. I don't know the scrimmages they've had in the past, but this was a very physical, long scrimmage, and it just proved to us we're not quite in good enough shape. But I was proud of the way they chased the ball early. I was proud of the offensive line and how they protected today. I thought they did a nice job, and we've got some pretty good running backs. We've got some guys that'll, you know, can make people miss, and guys that are tough.
Hi.
Kyle told us before he came on, Coach, that Traylon Burks had a touchdown. You mentioned a week or so ago that he's kind of earned your respect with the way he's been practicing. Didn't have a touchdown last season. How much of an emphasis are you putting on Coach Wiles and just the offense getting him the ball this year?
Well, he's a really good player, so, you know, it has been a much topic of conversation about getting the ball to the guy. And we've got the ball early to him today, and he took off, you know, and not only is he big, but he's extremely fast. And so he, you know, I think he can run the football as well as catch it, but he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. It can't be a game where we go, well, we got it to him 2 or 3 times. That can't happen. So we have to have a plan for him. He's been that dynamic.
All right, we'll work our way back around here. Tom?
There we go. Coach, the running backs, what do you think of Boyd in that group? And also Hudson Henry, Kyle said caught a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, Boyd was limited a little bit today. We limited him. He didn't get as many carries. I don't know what he carried it, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't know. Not very many, and that was as planned. We were trying to get Burks and Oglesby. Both those guys look good, along with Dominique. I thought those kids run the ball extremely hard, and I was proud of that. And of course, Henry, he caught a couple of short passes for touchdowns today, and it was good to see him. He broke a tackle and got in the end zone, so it's good to see him have some success. And I was proud of that tight end position today.
Bob?
Hey Sam, how you doing? Had kind of a big picture SEC question for a story I'm working on. I mean, most of the guys, head coaches in the league, are SEC guys, longtime SEC guys like you. And it seems like even when guys lose their jobs, you know, Barry came here, Chad went to Auburn, Matt Luke went to Georgia and replaced you. What do you think it is about the SEC that schools put such a premium on SEC experience, and it seems like, the same guys are in the league that just kind of switch teams.
It's a little bit. I'm not comparing it to the NFL in that aspect, but it's a little bit like the NFL. The NFL, you see a lot of coaches just when they leave one school, they go to another one and this, that, and other. That's why a lot of coaches have a contract that, they can't leave a SEC school to go to another one. Well, if the school fires them, obviously they'll have an opportunity to do that. But it's just an elite league, and that was a big deal for me that I could get, some SEC experience in here because recruiting's different, players are different, size is different, money's different, everything's different, SEC, and you can't, it's really not any on-the-job training. It's hard because you don't understand how good the players are that you're getting ready to have and play against. And if you've been in the league, you certainly have a much better understanding of how hard it is to recruit and how hard it is to get the best players and coach those players and the demands that it has to be to have success in this league.
I mean, you've coached a lot of places, Big 12. I mean, not to knock anybody else, but is there any doubt the SEC is just on a different level than everybody else?
Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, what I do know is that the SEC has had more draft picks than any other conference by far over the last 4 or 5 many years. And it's an elite league, and I'm not for sure anybody can hardly argue that.
Eddie?
Hey, Coach, a quick one. And then what was the venue for the practice? Was it on the practice fields or you go in the stadium? And also I was wondering if you could expound a little bit on the running backs like Traylon Smith and Amonte Spivey and just what those guys bring to the table. Is there going to be a good guy behind Boyd?
I think so. The first answer, Trey, is we were on the grass on the practice field. We're going to try to get in the stadium on our next scrimmage. But we had planned to go on the practice field for a reason, and it was just we wanted that scrimmage to be a hard-nosed, blue-collar, no rah-rah. We're on the grass, and we're just going to go hit each other, As far as the running backs go, I do think we're going to have an adequate two. Oglesby was a great addition to us. He came over from track. He's a very strong runner he's not a great big guy. Obviously, everybody knows that he's fast, but he's a very tough runner. And Traylon Smith is just a tough man. I mean, he's tough on the field, tough off the field. He's just that's his personality. So I think we're going to do well there. Spivey did not play today. He's a little dinged up, but I think Spivey's going to help in that rotation. And I like Dominique Johnson. I mean, I like him. I mean, he doesn't have the speed that those other guys do, but he's not a rock'em sock'em run over the top of it. He can make you miss as well. So he did some nice things as well. So I think running back wise, Jimmy Smith does a great job of coaching him, but I think he's got some hard-nosed, tough guys back there.
Ty?
Coach, I know you're joking with Paul Feinbaum yesterday. If Kirby names his starting quarterback, y'all will name yours. Just preparing for either Jamie Newman or JT Daniels. Are you just watching USC, Wake Forest, and Georgia's offense to get ready for that first game?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the old Georgia offense, but I'm not positive, what they're going to do. So a little bit of Wake Forest was a little bit of, similarity of a little bit of Georgia with a read scheme, a little bit of what we do, different things of that nature. And, of course, USC was a little bit different than that. So Barry's got his hands full of trying to figure out who to prepare for. So we're going to have a basic scheme in there, basic blitzes that we can use against whatever that may be. But we're going to have to find out we know what each quarterback, we think we do, what each quarterback that Georgia has, we think we know what they are capable of doing. We're just going to have to change our game plan. And of course, any school can go and play two, so you always have to be ready for the 1 and 2 guys. So But yes, we're looking at all that tape.
Russell.
Coach, how do you get them in better shape, after a couple of weeks here? And then also, is that made more difficult because of the practice being, more spread out than what they normally are?
I think it's a good point. I think the practice being spread is a good point. However, we do run, whenever we lift, as well. I think anytime that you have that lengthy of a scrimmage and it's hot, I'm not for sure that you're ever ready for it, whether it's mentally or physically. I think it's, especially, how it was, how it is when you don't know what's coming, and the next time you know exactly what the expectation is, how long it's going to be, how many plays I have. I think the next one will be much better because the kids will have a better understanding of what a scrimmage here is like. But I think we just have to transition better on and off the field. We talked to them about it last week. I think we have to push ourselves, and a lot of it goes back to that mental toughness. I think we have to continue to express mental toughness in our program. And if we do, I think that'll help us in getting in shape as well, because we'll, instead of jogging off, we'll run off the field.
I got time for a couple more. Bob.
Sam, Hudson Henry obviously has really good bloodlines. He was a great high school player, doesn't have a lot of experience yet. What have you seen from him? What are your expectations for him? And how do you feel about the depth behind him there at tight end?
Well, I think that's a position where we're still trying to figure out who's 1, 2, 3 in the depth chart, including who's a starter. Hudson, again, is doing a nice job, but he's young, and he hadn't played either. Kearns, I can give you something to write about. We've moved Blaine Toll back to tight end. I'm sure you guys will put that in the paper. But and he played well today. So we're just trying to find. To be honest with you, we're trying to find 2 really good tight ends, and if we could get 3 and 4, that'd be great. But right now, that one right there, I can tell you I don't have a clue who the starting tight end is yet. I'll know a little bit more after I watch this film this afternoon, but the next scrimmage will be really, really big for the tight end position.
My guess is we may have a few more questions now with that news. Hutch?
Yeah, Coach, a little bit of a random question, but you told us about Luke Jones getting put on scholarship a couple of weeks ago. Has there been anybody else that you've put on scholarship? And when, if not, when would you like to maybe do that?
Yes, we have put somebody else on scholarship, but I'm not ready to tell you who it is yet.
Hey, I'm wondering what next week looks like. What do you want to get done next week, and when maybe the next scrimmage is?
Next week's a work week. So next week is identical, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, with a scrimmage on Friday. It's a 2-hour practice every week. It's a go get it week once again. We may tackle a time once other than the scrimmage, but if it would, it'd be on a limited basis. But it's going to be a major work week. We're not worried about their legs and all that stuff right now. We're worried about getting in shape.
I think you had mentioned, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. And then after that, then we have another 4 week and then 2 5. So we probably won't back off the pedal until at least another 2 weeks.
Okay. I think you had mentioned earlier that maybe 2 scrimmages and maybe 3. Is that kind of still where you stand?
I couldn't see us having 3 scrimmages, to be honest with you. But we're going to scrimmage next Friday.